Breaking news, guys. Breaking news, man. Lil Jon's son is missing. I got the news from my girl, Reality TV, who is from Georgia, by way of Texas.
Lil Jon's son walked out of his house one morning with no phone, no shoes, and hasn't been seen since. But what's sending chills down everyone's spine right now is footage that just went viral. This video, posted by Lil Jon's rivals, may have been a disturbing message to his father. The vanishing, a father's worst nightmare. On the morning of February 3, 2026, at approximately 6 a.m., a 27-year-old man walked out of his home in Milton, Georgia, a quiet, affluent suburb, roughly 30 miles north of downtown Atlanta. Without his cell phone, without personal belongings, and in what authorities would later describe as a potentially disoriented state. He did not take a car. He did not leave a note. He simply stepped out the front door, turned toward the intersection of Baldwin Drive and Mayfield Road, and disappeared into the early morning darkness. His name is Nathan Murray Smith, and the world knows him by his stage name, DJ Young Slade. He is the son of Jonathan Smith, the Grammy-winning multi-platinum producer, rapper, and cultural force known globally as Lil Jon. Within hours, the Milton Police Department issued a formal missing persons alert, distributing Nathan's photograph and physical description across their social media channels and regional law enforcement networks. The alert emphasized a critical detail that separated this case from a routine adult disappearance. The 27-year-old may be disoriented and could be in need of assistance. He did not have his phone, meaning he could not call anyone and no one could reach him. He had no wallet, no identification, no means of communication whatsoever. Authorities stressed there were no threats to the public, but they urged anyone who encountered him to contact police immediately for a welfare check rather than attempt direct confrontation. Fox 5 Atlanta was among the first local outlets to broadcast the alert, noting that Nathan was last seen near Baldwin Drive in Milton. WSB-TV followed with video coverage, broadcasting the missing person details alongside concern for his safety. Within 24 hours, the story had exploded far beyond local Georgia news. NBC News ran a national report detailing the circumstances. People magazine published the family's request for privacy and prayers, including a photograph of Lil Jon and his son from 2016, underscoring the close bond between father and child. USA Today reported that family representatives had issued a statement asking for prayers and privacy during what they called an unimaginably difficult time. Bet covered the story with emphasis on the family's anguish and police concern about his disoriented state. The Hollywood Reporter noted that Lil Jon was estranged from Nathan's mother, Nicole Smith, adding another layer of complexity to an already harrowing situation. The news triggered an immediate wave of reaction across social media and YouTube commentary channels. On Boss Talk TV, the host broke the story to their audience with visible emotion. Interviewed, their co-host, Reality TV, provided early details about the circumstances, relaying what was circulating across Georgia media. It seems that maybe he was I'm not going to say I don't know if he was under the influence of a drug or whatever, but he ran out of the house, up barefoot, with no phone or nothing. The hosts of Boss Talk TV immediately—
Breaking news, guys. Breaking news, man. Lil Jon's son is missing. I got the news from my girl, Reality TV, who is from Georgia, by way of—
immediately urged their viewers to help spread awareness. They read directly from the official reports, confirming the core facts. The hosts then relayed TMZ's parallel reporting, which had amplified the story nationally. So, Lil Jon is dealing with a scary situation right now. TMZ said, his son DJ Young Slade has been reported missing in Georgia. The same thing the Milton Police Department put out a missing persons alert Tuesday, saying 28 Slade, legal name, Nathan Murray Smith, ran out of his home on foot and hasn't been seen since, and he doesn't have a phone. He may be disoriented and he could be in need of help. One particularly alarming detail emerged during the Boss Talk TV broadcast. Local outlet Rough Draft Atlanta was reporting an active police matter unfolding in Mayfield Park in Milton, the area near where Nathan was last seen. To understand the weight of this disappearance, you need to understand who Nathan Murray Smith actually is. Not just as Lil Jon's son, but as his own person. Born in 1998, Nathan grew up immersed in music from the womb. Lil Jon has shared stories of Nathan kicking during studio sessions while his mother was still pregnant with him. His mother was a dancer, and his father was building the crunk empire that would define a generation of Southern hip-hop. Nathan contributed vocals to Lil Jon and the East Side Boys' 2001 single Bob as a toddler, a fact that becomes surreal when you consider the trajectory of his career, since he began producing beats in high school, trained formally at the Scratch DJ Academy, and attended New York University. He built his craft methodically, working as a DJ, producer, engineer, and eventually an artist in his own right under the name DJ Young Slade. His recent career trajectory showed genuine momentum. He collaborated with his father on Lil Jon's 2024 guided meditation and hip-hop album, Total Meditation, He and Lil Jon produced tracks together for Too Short's upcoming Farewell album. He released a single titled Feels in March 2025, promoted actively on his Instagram, ALID. He appeared on MTV's Family Legacy series, discussing the pivotal moment watching his father's DJ set that cemented his own path. He performed at festivals like One Music Fest in Atlanta in 2025. He worked with artists like Jim Jones and maintained active ties across Atlanta's music scene. He appeared alongside his father on Celebrity Family Feud. By every measure, he was a young man building something real, independently producing, recording, and mixing his own material. On Boss Talk TV, the emotional weight of the situation was palpable. The host reflected on what it means to be a parent receiving this kind of news. And on the same show, earlier in the episode before the breaking news, DJ Young Slade himself had appeared in a previously recorded interview segment discussing what it was like to grow up as Lil Jon's son. That clip, Nathan describing his father as just dad, the man who drinks tea and watches movies at home, juxtaposed against a missing persons alert issued hours later by the Milton Police Department, is the kind of contrast that stops you cold. This is not a celebrity gossip cycle. This is a family in crisis. As of February 5, 2026, there are no public updates indicating that Nathan Murray Smith has been located. Searches of nearby areas, including Mayfield Lake, were ongoing. Lil Jon has not publicly spoken beyond the family's request for prayers and privacy. The Boss Talk TV host captured the impossibility of that silence perfectly. The host then articulated the raw, visceral terror of the situation from a parent's perspective. The agony of knowing your child is out there unreachable, and you are powerless to do anything. The conversation turned to the frustration of being hounded for information you do not possess. Reality TV offered a broader perspective, pointing out that the prayers should extend beyond just one celebrity's family. Praying for not just Lil Jon missing person, but all the missing people. You know, cause I know that he's a celebrity and they get, you know, a bigger publicity and all that. But prayers for everybody that's looking for a missing person. Old enemies, new wounds, the beefs that never die. Now, the title of this video references Lil Jon's Opps, a word that in hip-hop culture refers to opposition, enemies, rivals. To understand why that word is relevant here, we need to examine the history of conflict surrounding Lil Jon. Even though there is absolutely zero evidence connecting any of these rivalries to Nathan's disappearance, extensive searches across news sources, social media, and hip-hop coverage show no references to any beefs, rivalries, or incidents involving DJ Young Slade personally. This situation is being treated primarily as a welfare and mental health concern, rather than a criminal investigation. But the chilling footage that has surfaced, the previously recorded interview of Nathan talking about his father now circulating alongside missing person alerts, lands differently. When you understand that Lil Jon has spent decades navigating an industry where rivalries can follow families for generations. Jonathan Smith, Lil Jon emerged from Atlanta's late 1990s and early 2000s crunk, seen as its loudest, most dominant force. As the frontman of Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, he produced and performed anthems that defined an era. Get Low Bia, Throw It Up, his signature ad-libs, Yeah, Okay, what became cultural fixtures parodied by Dave Chappelle and recognized worldwide. He went on to produce Turnout for What with DJ Snake, won a Grammy, worked across genres from EDM to country, and maintained relevance for over 2 decades. But that kind of dominance in Atlanta's competitive southern rap scene did not come without friction. The most significant documented beef in Lil Jon's career involves Pastor Troy, real name Micah LeVar Troy, a fellow Atlanta rapper who built a devoted following through aggressive, independent southern rap. The two collaborated on Throw It Up, a track from Lil Jon and the East Side Boys' 2002 album Kings of Crunk. That song became Pastor Troy's biggest mainstream exposure, a crunk anthem that put him in front of a national audience. But the aftermath of that collaboration planted seeds of resentment that would fester for years. Pastor Troy has spoken in interviews, notably at Politics. No further collaborations followed. Pastor Troy described feeling excluded from Lil J's expanding empire, not invited back for more work, not given the platform that the song's success should have warranted. He claimed Lil Jon asked for a verse at one point, but that the exchange did not lead to mutual respect or new opportunities. In a 2022 Revolt TV appearance, Troy reflected on these frustrations in the broader context of Atlanta's crunk scene dynamics. That resentment boiled over in 2006 when Pastor Troy released Murder Man 2 on his album By Choice or By Force, a direct diss track targeting Lil Jon, his BME, Black Market Entertainment label, and affiliates including Lil Scrappy and Crime Mob. The lyrics were explicit and aggressive, calling out Lil Jon and his entire crew by name, venting years of perceived disrespect and exclusion. The track represented Pastor Troy's primary outlet for the beef, his main opportunity to put his grievances on wax. It circulated in Atlanta's underground and among Southern rap fans, but it never sparked a response from Lil J. That silence was itself a statement. Lil J did not engage. He did not record a response. He simply continued building his career, while Pastor Troy's frustrations remained largely one-sided. But Lil J's rivalry landscape extended beyond Pastor Troy. His relationship with the Ying Yang Twins, the duo behind crunk smashes like Get Low and Salt Shaker, became strained over creative control, credit, and business dealings. The twins discussed, in podcasts and interviews, how Lil Jon initially did not even like Get Low and pushed back on certain ideas. They claimed the song's massive success generated significant revenue from which they felt undervalued and restricted. It was more of a professional fracture than outright hostility. But the tension was real and documented across multiple interview appearances. Lil Jon and the East Side Boys themselves split after their 2004 album Crunk Juice due to internal money issues, legal drama, and conflicts within the group. The breakup allowed Lil J to go solo and maintain prominence while the East Side Boys faded from public view. A business dissolution that left lasting tension between former collaborators. Dem Franchise Boys accused Lil Jon of heavily influencing or appropriating their sound during the crunk to snap music transition era, adding another layer of competitive friction within Atlanta's scene. And there were peripheral tensions involving Lil Scrappy, signed to Lil J's BME label, where 50 Cent reportedly pressured Lil Jon over Scrappy's affiliation, and Scrappy eventually departed the label amid unresolved issues. Through all of this, Lil J's approach was remarkably consistent. He stayed above the fray. He rarely addressed beef publicly. He did not record diss tracks. He positioned himself as a legacy figure in crunk music, focusing on production, collaborations, and eventually his dramatic personal transformation. In recent years, particularly from 2024 through 2025, Lil Jon openly discussed his journey toward mental and physical health. He acknowledged past heavy drinking directly tied to his crunk party persona and revealed that he cut back significantly after health scares involving his liver around age 50. He underwent EMDR therapy, started meditating, adopted an intense fitness regimen, and even competed in the 2025 Muscle Beach Championship. He credited this shift to wanting to be healthier for his family, specifically mentioning his young daughter, born in 2024, and his older son, Nathan. He described overcoming what he called suffering in silence, a pattern he recognized as common among men, and became an outspoken advocate for self-care and wellness. That personal evolution makes the current crisis all the more devastating. Here is a man who spent the last 2 years publicly rebuilding his life around family and health, only to face the nightmare of his 27-year-old son vanishing without a trace. His previous marriage to Nicole Smith, Nathan's mother, ended in an arrangement that added complexity to an already fractured family dynamic. But by all public accounts, Lil Jon and Nathan maintained a close relationship. They collaborated on music. They appeared together on television. Nathan spoke glowingly about his father in interviews, describing him as the Tarantino movie-watching dad behind the bombastic stage persona. The Boss Talk TV host channeled the agony of Lil Jon's situation, the impossibility of keeping it together when your child is missing. And I think that's just the scary situation when you're sitting there trying to figure, you don't know. He didn't take his phone. He might have had on shoes. Might have didn't have on shoes. He don't have no personal items. That's the weirdest thing right there. Cause now, you got me worried. Now I'm worried about you because I don't know what the hell going on. What happened to my damn son is what I'm asking at that point. So I just pray for Little Jon, and I pray for the mother of the boy too, cause she going through it. It ain't just Little Jon, cause he got a name. Family, brothers and sisters, everybody's on high alert when somebody missing. As a relatively low-profile DJ and producer, compared to his father's fame, Nathan has never been linked to any public feuds, music industry drama, or personal conflicts. His Instagram activity prior to his disappearance showed family appearances, music promotion, and positive career updates. But the history of hip-hop tells us that when you carry a famous last name, your father's enemies become your burden, whether you ask for it or not. And that brings us to the darkest chapter of this story, when the children pay the price, hip-hop's darkest pattern. What makes the footage of Nathan talking about his father so chilling, so deeply unsettling to anyone who watches it now, in the context of his disappearance, is that it exists within a broader documented pattern in hip-hop where the children of famous rappers become collateral damage in beefs they had no part in creating. Nathan Murray Smith has no known enemies. He has no beef. He has no rivalries. His disappearance, by every official account, is a welfare and mental health crisis rather than a criminal matter. But the very fact that his name trended alongside the word Opps, that footage of him speaking warmly about his father is being described as chilling, reflects a culture where we have been conditioned to expect the worst when a rapper's child makes headline. That conditioning exists because the worst has happened repeatedly. Consider the most prominent recent example, the The 2025 escalation between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, feud that had been smoldering since 2017, but erupted into something genuinely disturbing when both women began targeting each other's children. Nicki Minaj, real name Anuchika Tanya Mirage Petty, the Trinidadian-American rapper who had built an empire through albums like Pink Friday and maintained her status as one of the most successful female rappers in history, posted insults on social media, calling Cardi B's daughter, Culture, ugly, referring to her as Culture Vulture and Monkey, and threatening physical violence against a child. She extended similar attacks to Cardi's younger daughter, Blossom. Cardi B, real name Belcalis Marlani, the Bronxorn rapper who broke through with Bodak Yellow, retaliated by mocking Nicki's son, publicly known as Papa Bear, as slow and nonverbal, alleging that substance use during pregnancy caused developmental issues and making dark jokes about the child's birthday. Both women issued what amounted to backhanded apologies, Nicki specifically, to Culture, while continuing the attacks. The exchange drew widespread condemnation for dragging innocent children into adult warfare. The Drake-Kendrick Lamar feud of 2024 represented perhaps the most sophisticated and devastating deployment of family targeting in modern rap history. Drake's Family Matters alleged that one of Kendrick Lamar's children was fathered by his creative partner, Dave, attacking the foundation of Kendrick's family and relationship with fiancée Whitney Alford, while also claiming domestic abuse in their household. Kendrick's response, Meet the Grahams, addressed Drake's family members individually, including his young son, Adonis, to whom Kendrick said directly, "I'm sorry, that man is your father." The track also alleged the existence of a secret 11-year-old daughter Drake had never publicly acknowledged. Drake denied that claim, but the damage was done. These were not vague references or coded these were direct, named attacks on children who had zero involvement in their father's creative or personal rivalry. Children, weaponized as instruments of humiliation. The precedent for this had been set years earlier in 2018 when Pusha T released the story of a diss track that revealed the existence of one of the most infamous moments in modern rap history came when Pusha T exposed Drake's then-hidden son, Adonis, to the entire world. The track accused Drake of being an absent father and featured shocking artwork of Drake in blackface. Even more controversially, the lyrics directly addressed Adonis, urging him to come home, effectively using a child's existence as ammunition in a rap feud. That single record forced Drake to publicly acknowledge his son for the first time. What should have been a private family matter was weaponized and detonated on a global stage for competitive advantage. In many ways, it set a precedent, one that Kendrick Lamar would later expand upon in his own confrontations. Long before that moment, Eminem had already drawn a hard line when it came to involving children in rap beefs. Time and time again, rivals crossed that line and paid the price. Loose Change, making negative speculations about her future in connection to Eminem's chaotic public life. Eminem's response was ruthless. Songs like Haley's Revenge and Go to Sleep didn't just answer Ja Rule, they accelerated his already declining career into near irrelevance. Machine Gun Kelly made a similar mistake years later. In 2012, he posted a tweet calling a then-teenage Haley attractive, using language widely viewed as inappropriate. That comment lingered for years, before resurfacing in 2018. When MGK released Rap Devil, Eminem's reply, Killshot, was widely regarded as correct. Earlier still, Everlast of House of Pain had taken a shot at Haley. In a remix verse in the early 2000s, Eminem responded with Quitter, effectively ending Everlast's relevance in mainstream rap. The pattern was unmistakable. Mention Eminem's daughter, and your career suffers severe consequences. But beneath that pattern lies a darker truth. The fact that artists continued to target children despite those consequences reveals something disturbing. Kids were increasingly seen as fair game in personal and professional rivalries. Outside the studio, this mentality has had lethal consequences. In Jacksonville, Florida, the ATK vs. KTA rivalry involving rappers like Young Ace and the late Julio Fulio led to shootings where family members were injured or killed. These weren't just music disputes, they were street wars where proximity alone could make someone a target. In Stockton, California, children's birthday parties connected to rappers have been shot up amid ongoing crew feuds, placing innocent kids in direct danger. These incidents represent the extreme end of a spectrum that starts with diss lyrics and online insults but ends with violence against the most vulnerable people involved. This is the cultural backdrop against which footage of Nathan Murray Smith, also known as DJ Young Slade, is now circulating, not because he was targeted in any feud, not because there is evidence of violence, and not because authorities suspect foul play. Police have been clear that this is a welfare concern, yet the footage is described as chilling, because we now live in a culture where the children of rappers inherit risk simply by existing. A once innocent interview clip of a young man describing his father as just dad takes on a haunting tone. The moment that young man goes missing, Lil Jon's own history underscores how much the culture has shifted. His past disputes with Pastor Troy, the Yin Yang Twins, former East Side Boys members, and various competitors from Atlanta's crunk era were never the type of conflicts that spilled into violence or family threats. Pastor Troy vented in music and interviews, and Lil Jon never responded. The Yin Yang Twins expressed frustration over money and credit, and the relationship simply faded. These were professional disagreements, label politics, and creative friction. Not wars, but the precedent set by Nicki and Cardi, by Drake and Kendrick, by Pusha T's Revelation of Adonis, and by every artist who ever invoked Haley Jade has changed the reflex. Now, whenever a rapper's child appears in the news for any reason, the immediate reaction is to search for an enemy to blame. In the final moments of his broadcast about Nathan's disappearance, the Boss Talk TV host delivered a message that cut through all the noise. That message is the real takeaway. Hear not the beefs, not the rivalries, not the speculation. This is the story of a father searching for his son, of a young man who walked out of his home on a February morning and hasn't been heard from since, of a family asking for prayers and privacy while the internet dissects their pain for content. That is the truth at the center of this story.